love-struck Romeo sings the streets a serenade, laying everybody low with a love song that he made. Finds the street light, steps out of the shade, says something like, "You and me, babe, how about it?" Hey friends, what's going on? David Potts with Song Notes here, and today I'm going to show you how to pick up your guitar and play Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. So about this lesson, I should say this is going to be based on a sort of easier version of this song, right? I'm going to be doing no capo, and I'm going to be standard tuning, right? I bring those up because you need to have capo 3rd fret if you want to play along with the band, and you need to be in open G tuning if you want to play the intro along with the band. I decided I want to make a lesson that's accessible for more of the masses, right? So head on over to playsongnotes.com. You can get my handcrafted PDF chord sheet. It shows you the intro, the tab, the chords, the strumming, the lyrics for everything, in addition to these pages showing you all the different chord voicings and the chord progressions and how to learn the intro step by step. So it's a great resource no matter what level of guitarist you all, and thanks to all of you all who are supporting me on Patreon and through the tip jar. Really appreciate it. I hope you're digging these chord sheets, and if you haven't checked them out yet, please do so. Head on over to the website. I have a bunch of them there, over 160 at this point. They're a real labor of love, and I hope they really help you as much as they're helping everyone else who is writing in with the very kind words. So yeah, but with that said, let's get into this lesson. Jump ahead if you know what you're looking for, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's go. All right, so first up, I want to talk quickly about capo and tuning. You know, as I noted earlier, just want to clarify this for this song. So my lesson, I'm going to be in standard tuning, and I'm going to be playing with no capo, okay? I say that because if you want to play along with Dire Straits, first of all, you got to put a capo on the 3rd fret, and then use the chords and everything I show you here, right? And also, if you want to learn the intro the way that Dire Straits plays the intro, you're going to have to be in open G tuning and use a totally different tab. It's going to be similar, but it's different, right? You know, when I was looking up this song and researching it, there's tons of lessons online. Like look up Justin Sanderco's that show you, they're just great. They nail it. If you want to do the open G 3rd fret capo version of the intro, that's already covered by a lot of great teachers, right? But what I found was missing was a very accessible entry-level version of this song that uses no capo, that's in standard tuning, that gets you, you know, 80–90% of the way there for a lot less effort. That's what I'm doing in this video. Just want to call that out so you know what you're in for. And check out the website I have if you want to find some other lessons I suggest if you want to go all the way with this one, right? Maybe one day in the distant future, I might return to this song and do the open G version. It won't be anytime soon. I need a break usually when I finish learning a song, but wanted to call that out, all right? So next, let's move on to the chords, okay? So the good part about this song is there's only going to be 4 chords we're going to need. So they look like this, right? We're going to have our D, our G, and our A, and a B minor, right? It's going to be the trickiest chord in the song. All right, it's a bar chord. I have a whole separate video giving you some tips on how to learn this chord. So pretty straightforward, you know, 1, 4, 5 in the minor 6th in the key of D, right, with no capo here. Now the one thing I want to call out for a tip if you're playing this song is I recommend playing the A. Try not to play it with the, you know, your index finger barred on the 2nd fret of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, right? I have a lesson for this as well. And the idea here is you're only playing the middle 4 strings, and why I suggest having this as a handy voicing is because when you go from the A to the B minor, or the B minor to the A quickly, your index finger is already there. It's already sort of barred across that 2nd fret. It just makes the transition a lot easier. So this is a technique that's very helpful when you're learning this song. Again, check out my lesson if you want to learn that one. So that's what you're going to need for the chords, right? Now the next thing I want to explain for this song is the chord progressions you're going to need, okay? So before we do the intro, I'll get to the intro a little bit later, but this song basically has 2 sections. There's a verse and a chorus, right? You're going to play the verse a couple times, do the chorus. Do the verse 2 more times, do the chorus. Do the verse 2 more times, do the chorus, and then do the verse 1 more time. But every time you go back between the verse and the chorus, you're playing the same progression for every verse and the same progression for every chorus. So here's what it looks like, all right? Again, we're in the key of D here. First, let's start with the verse. Now, I'm going to cover strumming in a little bit, but if you just were to go through it and just do a single pluck or a single strum of the chords when they show up here, that's what I'll go through now. I'm going to be finger picking this, by the way. I'll just do a casual you know, just sort of strum the chords with my index finger or with my thumb. This song is very casual. It doesn't need a lot of pick precision, right? So I'll probably use my thumb here. But let's go through this for the verse, right? So first I'll do a version where I count, and then I'll do a version where I sort of sing the melody, sing the lyrics to give you context, right? So it would look like this. So starting in the top left, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, ready, go. D, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, A, B minor, 2, G, 2, A, 2, 3, G, A, 2, D, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4. Apologies for the rusty counting there, but hopefully that helps. Let me just do the same thing with the lyrics, right? So I'll do one measure of counting in. So 1, 2, ready, go. A love-struck Romeo sings the streets a serenade, laying everybody low with a love song that he made. Finds a street light, steps out of the shade, says something like, you and me, babe, how about it? Right? So that's all you're gonna need for the verse. The one thing I'll call out here is, see how I have in the first measure and the third measure, the A is in parentheses? What that means is in certain verses, they're not gonna play it at all. For example, the very first verse, you don't really hear that A chord on the 4 count. You just go from a D, you know, a love-struck Romeo sings the seats just serenade, laying everybody low. So basically, this song has some dynamic ups and downs with the volume. When it's a really quiet and chilled out verse, you probably can skip that A, and it's totally okay. And that makes it easier to play as well. So I wanted to call that out. But in some of the heavier verses, not that they ever get that heavy, you're gonna hear that A as a transition chord, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Transition chord meaning it's just it's moving you from the D to the B minor, but you don't have to play it if you don't want to or if it's too difficult. So keep that in mind. But I wanted to at least call it out in the progression here with the parentheses to let you know that it's really there. So let's do it one more time with the strumming, right? And here what I'm going to do is a down strum on every quarter note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if you want, on the 4 and then the sort of 16th note that comes after the 4 and, you can do a down up, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, right? So that's what I'll be doing here. Let's do it real quick. Let's do the second verse this time. So Juliet says, hey, it's Romeo. You nearly gave me a heart attack. She's underneath the window, she's screaming, hey lie, my boyfriend's back. You know you shouldn't come around here, screaming up to people like that. Anyway, what you gonna do about it? Alright, so that's what you're gonna do there. And again, don't add the quick down up at the end if it's giving you too much trouble. Just do the all down strums on the 1, 2, 3, 4 if you can. It fills it out quite nicely. Okay, so if this is sort of hanging you up, rewind this, listen to the song, put on the capo in the 3rd fret, play along. You know, get used to doing it. It's going to take some time before you can comfortably strum and comfortably sing. That's going to take some time for sure, especially with that B minor. But next, let's look at the chorus. So the chorus, we'll do the same thing sort of here. Let's go counting through it. That would be like this. So one measure counting in, so 1, 2, 3, 4, D to A to B minor, 2, 3, 4 to D to A, B minor into G, A and D and G, B minor and G to E minor, 2, 3, 4 and G, B minor, A, and then resolve to D. Okay, so that's how you're gonna do it there. Let me do it with the lyrics, right? 1, 2, ready, go. Juliet, the dice was loaded from the start, and I bet that you exploded into my heart, and I forget the movie song. When you gonna realize it was just that the time was wrong, Juliet? Okay, So after the chorus, we're going to go back into the intro, right? But before I move on from this part of the lesson, I want to talk about this ending of the chorus, right? So this is a bit more advanced. And what's happening here is, so when you're gonna realize just that the time was wrong. You have that sort of bass note that I just played, right? So here, what this advanced ending is sort of calling out is this, these like bass notes that connect the E minor to the G, right? You're gonna go from the E minor, and then it's like an inferred D over F sharp that walks you up to the G. You can just do this, the F bass note, F sharp bass note to the G, and then you're gonna go from an A bass note to a B, and then back down to the A on the 4 count, right? So. You gotta listen along, and this is a very nuanced thing. I really wouldn't worry about it unless your ear already hears it and you're sort of anxious to add it, to play it, right? I just wanted to call it out again, because it's one of those things where you have such master musicians playing this song, and they're doing a lot more, you know, adding a ton of nuance that I'm skipping over for many parts of this lesson, but this is one of those things I wanted to call out there that is happening, okay? So that's how you play the chorus. So you have the verse, you have the chorus. Now, let me just do a playthrough of the first verse and the second verse and then the chorus, and then that will sort of give you a sense for how to maybe work in a simple strum, maybe picking the strum up a little bit by just adding a couple, you know, down strums on the 8th notes, right? Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. So what I'm doing there is showing you the strumming pattern I have here, but I'm doing extra down strums in between the 1, 2, 3, 4. You just want to get the finger naturally bouncing, right? And you'll be in good shape. So here we go. So, a love-struck Romeo sings the streets a serenade, laying everybody low with the love song that he made. Finds a street light, steps out of the shade. It's something like you and me, babe, how about it? Juliet says, hey, it's Romeo, you nearly give me a heart attack. She's underneath the window, she's screaming, hey, lie, my boyfriend's back. You know you shouldn't come around here screaming up to people like that. Anyway, what you gonna do about it? Juliet, the dice was loaded from the start, and I bet that you exploded into my heart. And I forget the movie song. When you gonna realize it was just that the time was wrong, Juliet. All right, so that's basically what you're gonna have if you do a sort of strum there. And again, just do it chill during the verses and then pick it up during the chorus, right? But all down strums for the most part there. Lastly, let's look at this intro part, right? A really fun part of the song, and this arrangement I'm gonna show you, it's gonna be simplified, right? I'm not gonna do the exact more difficult version that you're gonna play in open G. So first up, I want to talk about finger style hand positions, finger positions, right? In your right hand specifically. Okay, so generally what I'm gonna do here, and this is more like guidelines, not necessarily a strict rule, is I'm gonna have one string assigned to each finger, with the exception of my thumb. So my thumb is gonna play the 6th, 5th, and 4th string. No matter what the chord is, whatever the bass note is, it's either gonna be on the 6th string for G, 5th string for A, 4th string for D. My thumb is gonna play the bass note no matter which chord, right? Now for these 3 fingers, the idea is that they're gonna own the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string, thinnest strings that is. So ring finger on the 1st string, middle finger on the 2nd string, index finger on the 3rd string, right? So if we're playing a D, that would be 4th string open with the thumb, index, middle, ring, right? On the 3rd, 2nd, 1st string. A, same positions right here for these 3 fingers, but the thumb is going down to the 5th string in G. Now, the idea behind this is you want to keep minimal movement on these 3 fingers when you're switching between chords, right? Now, with that in mind, let's look at this first. So this is the intro without all the passing notes and all the flourish added. It's basically just the main chords you're going to hit. The one thing I want to call out here is the A is going to be replaced with an A7. Meaning we're gonna leave that 3rd string open, right? So open, second, open, second, open. And in fact, if you're finger picking this, I never even play the 5th string at all because I'm just playing, or the 4th string. I play the 5th string, then I just play the thinnest 3 strings. Right? So you're just putting one finger down, really, okay? Now, let's see here. So with this, what I recommend doing is getting comfortable with the timing, right? So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Do that timing and do these chords and get comfortable with the groove. Hear the intro in your head or just try to mumble sing it, right? What this is doing is giving you a familiarity with the rhythm, right? And it's teaching your hands to get to these chord shapes and change at the right times to be, where you need to be on the right count, right? The other thing I want to call out here is for the G. This is a very atypical chord voicing, right? You'll see this in certain songs, but what's happening here is we're not playing the thinnest string. We're only playing the thickest string, and then I'm playing the B and the G string. And on the B string, I have my 3rd fret played with my left pinky. And what you're going to need to do later in this 1 minute I'm going to show you is take that pinky off. So you're going to have to know that, but basically this is important. It might feel weird at first, but get used to it. Ring finger and pinky finger on your left hand on the 6th string and 2nd string. Okay? So that's what you're going to need to get familiar with. And notice in the first measure, the thinnest string that I'm playing on the first 2 chords is the 1st string, right? So, right? And for the A7, the 1st string. Now for the 2nd measure, it's the 2nd string is the highest string. And for the A7, this is important because this highest note in the sort of treble sort of spectrum or whatever it's called is going to get the melody, and that's what's going to catch your ear on the high end, right? So now let's look at the rest of this tab here. It looks like this. Okay, so here what's going on is the main chord foundations I just showed you are going to stay the same, but what we're going to do is add these sort of transition notes, right? Right? So after the first D, we're basically going to pluck the 3rd, 2nd, 1st string on the counts I have here, right? 1 E and 2 E and, right? So this is using all 4 fingers on my right hand. My thumb and my ring are pinching it first, and then I'm using my index, middle, and ring. Right? Then after that, I'm going to do 3 E end on the 4th, 3rd, 2nd string. And then go to an A7, pluck in the 5th and the 1st string, and then pluck the 2nd string, which is 2nd fret. Okay, so that first measure. Okay, one more time. And what you can do when you're practicing this is do this in a loop. Do it over and over. Now, this next part's pretty difficult, I find, is that you have to transition from this A7 to the G. And the hard part for me is getting my pinky to go on that note. And you don't have that much time. You only have about, an 1/8 note of time, right? Switch. So after we switch to the G, what we're gonna do is, and by the way, this is why you wanna practice that first part. You wanna get good at going from the D to the A7 to the G. You want to be able to do this pretty fluently, right? That shouldn't give you trouble. If it's still giving you trouble, that's fine. Keep practicing it though. And wait until you have that under control before you add these flourish notes. So So after you get to the G, you're going to pluck the third string open, and then the second string open, and then put your pinky back down on the second string. It's the 3rd fret, right? Whoops. Right? Open 3rd, open 2nd, 3rd fret, 2nd. Okay? Then after that, you'll do 6th string, and then 2nd and 3rd string together. So the G would be, go back to an A, and this is the last tricky part, is you want to do play the A7, right? 5th, 2nd, and 3rd string, and then sort of, I use my left pinky to play the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Hammer it on if you can. If you hammer it on, you don't have to actually pluck it because your finger's making the sound. But if you can't hammer it on, you can just pluck it again. And then play the open E string last, okay? Okay, so the whole intro would sound like this. And you repeat it. Love struck Romeo, sings the streets a serenade, laying everybody low. So you get the idea there. So that's how you're going to play the intro to this song. So you know, I hope that was helpful for you. Break it into pieces. You know, identify the spots that are giving you trouble, and give it a few days. You know, this is not something that you should necessarily feel that you're going to just pick up in one sitting. It might take you a few sittings, but I'm telling you, give it time, be consistent about it, come back to it, and your fingers, it's almost as if they practice when you're sleeping, and it gets a little bit easier every day, hopefully, if you're doing a good practice session. So, hey, that's going to be it for this lesson. Again, check out the website, playsongnotes.com, to get the PDF for this, the printout. Take it with you outside of this lesson. Practice this when you're not looking at your phone or a computer or the TV or whatever glowing screen you have. Spend time with it, you know, play with the chord progression, all that stuff, and it's all in the name of get through the song properly and with confidence. So this has been David Potts. Thanks to you for watching this far. Most of y'all don't make it this far, so if you are watching, it's really much appreciated. So thanks to all of you who are supporting me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. Likewise, through the tip jar and through all the kind emails you send me. But I'm going to take off now. Playsongnotes.com is where you can get the PDF for this lesson. And I'm going to go. You take care. All right. Pick up your guitar and play. Bye-bye.